After finally getting my license, I was driving around my local op shops and I found this piece for $120. I managed to bark it down from 80 because it needed a whole lot of work. This was a one of a kind piece when I looked at it, and when I did some research after I finished this piece, it was a one of a kind piece. This is 1900s Gustav Stickley oak sideboard. This piece is very rare where I'm from, and you never see pieces like it because
I hate some of the antique pieces because when you buy them, this is the problem. They're very dull and it screw up trying to take off the screws. So
this piece has black marks all over it, and overall this piece just needs some love. So I'm going to just take off all the handles first and take out all the drills. When I looked at it, it's just very unique. The side pieces with those square things and the drills on the top, just this piece is very unique, and when I saw it, I just had to try and get it. So, and as I said in the video before, taking off some of the older pieces handles are very annoying because the people that screw them in, they tend to make it more dull and way harder to get out, so sometimes I need to use pliers or literally just force it out and break it even more, which is very annoying, but luckily I didn't have to do it, and just the pliers worked fine. So there's a big crack on one of the top of the drawers that I'm going to have to glue in, but I'm just going to take off the price tag first. As you can see, there's a black mark there. So I've taken off all those square bits and I'm going to label them with my tape and my marker and just put them on the pieces so I don't forget which one is what and where it goes when I have to put it back on. So the top was kind of already faded. It did have those oxidation marks on it, but I'm just going to scrape down the rest of the top. So I used this in my last video. I used this Amir gel rust stain and oxidation remover. It worked very well in my last video. So I'm going to apply one coat of this so it can get out all those black marks and all the other oxidation parts. And I didn't wear my mask for this. I should have, because it says if you inhale this stuff it's not good, and I did feel a bit nauseous when I applied it straight after. So yeah, next time I will use my mask because I did use it the first time. So after applying that, I'm going to let that sit for around an hour or so. But for now, I'm going to put all my miscellaneous in a jug. And I'm going to put the jug on, put some hot water in there, put some vinegar and some Barkeeper's Friend to remove all that rust and get to the pure brass color of the handles. So I'm going to give that a wee stir around so it can get in all the places. I'm going to let that sit for an hour or two, but for now, I'm now going to wipe down the gel stain with a sponge and some warm water. So after that, I'm going to now wipe it down with a dry towel. It's very weird. You might have not seen that it worked well. After later on in the video, I'll show you that it actually did remove some stains. As you can see right here, it did remove it after some time, which is very strange. Maybe it reacted to the water, it just took some time. But now I'm going to wire brush the whole thing, well, my miscellaneous down, because I let that sit for around a couple hours and it only took me like an hour to wipe the whole thing down. Let's give some debrief on who Gustav Stickley was. He was an American interior designer. He was born 9th of March 1858 and he died in 1942 in New York City. He had a huge voice in the American arts and crafts movement with the architecture in furniture and everything. His construction and furniture was just plain surfaces. The grain of the wood had to be very beautiful, and he used a lot of nails and metal hardware within his pieces. Digging for some research, I found one of the sideboards that he made and auctioned in 1999 sold for $540,000. Sideboard like this. I don't know if this has that much value. God bless if it does, but that is a hell of a lot of money, and he was a very unique person. After giving that history debrief on the person that made these pieces, I'm now going to use my azelaic acid. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons and a half cup full of warm water and apply it to the rest of all the black marks on this piece just to buff them out. After applying it and letting it sit for around 10 minutes, I'm now going to wire brush them all out. If you guys made it this far into the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for Angel, or else she will lick you to death. She was also wondering where you guys are from, and drop it off in the comments below. I'm now going to use a small piece of plastic to put my glue on and to get in those small cracks. Glue and clamp down this piece because the brackets are coming off, and I want it to be safe and secure. So I'm just going to let that sit overnight. So for now, I'm now going to scrape all the varnish off, every single thing, the drawers and the top of this piece. So this piece still had pen marks. The oxidation remover didn't remove it, so I'm going to use my acetone and a paintbrush to wire brush this out, and I'm going to probably need to do 2 coats as the first one didn't work well. So I'm just going to continue on to scraping everything down. When I was just about to scrape the side, I saw this big crack in this piece, so I'm just gonna now scrape it down. I found a random Uno card, and I just decided, okay, well, I guess I'll put my glue on that, and I'm gonna use the Uno card and put glue within this crack, and then I'm gonna clamp it down with my heavy metal clamps. So now I'm actually going to get back onto scraping down. Sorry about that. So I'm going to fill in where that spot had that nail in it, and I'm probably going to sand it down later on in the video. But for now, I'm going to take off all the clamps as it is set overnight. After taking off all the clamps, I'm now going to sand the whole thing down with 80 grit sandpaper, so then I can take off all the extra varnish on this piece. Considering all the joint pieces on the top of the piece, I'm now going to unscrew the back so I can sand it into places where it's too hard to get in with my orbital sander or my mouse sander. So after I've sanded everything down, I'm going to pour some glue into a plastic container. I am then going to use a paintbrush to glue on square things onto the piece again so it's more stable, because when I got the piece, these weren't stable and you know, it needs to be secure and stable, so I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to hammer those in, and then I'm going to clamp them down so it becomes a lot more secure. So I'm just going to let that sit overnight, and now I'm going to take all the clamps off. I'm now going to screw both the top back on and the other top back on to this piece. I'm now going to clean all the dust off with my vacuum so I can get a finer finish later on in the video. I remember working with a similar wood to this with another piece that's not the same exact as this one. I used my furniture oil for the final finish, just grained to show, and it did exactly that. And I know you guys might see marks on the top of it, but that is just for the character, and it is actually within the wood grain, so don't you guys worry, I didn't need to remove it. So now, yeah, I'm just going to apply it to everywhere. Applying that everywhere. After applying that everywhere, I'm now going to apply a gloss varnish so it can just show the grain even more, and the brass handles will pop out like shiny stars. Shiny stars, I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just used this. And this piece, I think it took me around 6 to 8 hours to do, and I used around $5 to $10 in materials. I think I might keep this piece. I'm not sure yet, but this is an absolute beautiful piece, and I think I did very well on it. Let me know your thoughts on the final result. Is it worth your like, follow, and comment? Also, if you enjoyed this video, please check out my other two videos, and God bless everyone. Thanks for watching, guys.